What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a classic little deep web story. Hey, hope you guys enjoy this video. Drop a like if you do. And also, this video is brought to you guys by the homies at the Ridge Wallet. Now listen, this is the modern solution to the wallet. It's sleek, it's sexy, it's lightweight, and it is beautiful. Look at the pictures on screen right now, and look at how much smaller it is than the wallet I've been using. The homies at Ridge Wallet hooked me up, and I've been using this wallet ever since. They have so many awesome designs. There's like 30 of them, way more than that on their website. There's so many options. They all look amazing. They're super high quality. And not only that, but there's some pretty cool tech in these things. You got an RFID blocker to help keep your cards protected. For all you guys who know what that means, I barely do, but it sounds pretty cool. Hey, you can't go wrong with a Ridge wallet. Use code GBLN at checkout and get yourself a nice discount, and check out the link at the very top of the description. Shout out to Ridge Wallet for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate it. Let's dive right into it. So, this took place back in the summer of 2017, where those of you guys who have been watching my channel for a while are probably familiar that I went through a bit of a deep web phase at this point in my life. You know, I was buying a lot of stuff because I was on probation, so I didn't actually smoke or really do many drugs at all. So it worked out pretty well. You know, I was able to kind of stack up some money, for when I got off probation, and it was really nice. At this particular point, I'd say I'd been doing this for maybe a month and a half, 2 months, It could have been longer than that. But Alphabay had just shut down. For those of you guys who remember that website, it was at one time, I think it was the biggest deep web market, or one of them, but Alphabay had just gotten shut down. So me, being an absolute paranoid tweaker, I'm shitting my pants about this, because not only that, I also realized that I was nowhere near an expert in like OPSEC or self-security, any, privacy, any of that stuff. I really honestly had barely any idea what I was doing looking back at it. So I was shitting my pants at this point. And I had moved on to a new market called Hansa, which I believe is also gone now. I think that had the same fate as Alphabay, actually, where they both got seized by the feds, like within a fairly close time frame, I think. I might be remembering incorrectly. I don't know. This was a long time ago. But either way, back on topic here. So, Hansa, moral of the story is it shut down at one point. But I'm browsing on this market, and I didn't really have a ton of experience here. There's a lot of different vendors, some of the same faces from Alphabay, but I was kind of trying to stay away from the vendors I saw on Alphabay, because I was like, dude, I was so paranoid. I was like, bro, those have to be cops, like there's no way. That's a Fed, anything that is in any way related to Alphabay, get me away from that shit. I want nothing to do with it, right? So I'm on Hansa, and I'm browsing around, taking a gander, looking for some vendors. And of course, there's been a huge influx of people like myself coming onto the site, so there's a whole bunch of listings. There's a lot of new ones and a lot of old ones. There's a lot of good stuff. And I will admit, Hansa was a pretty good market. Honestly, I kind of liked it better than Alphabay. It was really nice, and I remember like it was easy to look at. Everything was laid out very nicely. Great market, but that's not the point. Either way, so I'm browsing through, man, that blue and orange color. All right, hey, back on topic. So, I'm browsing through Hansa, right? I'm taking a gander around. I'm looking through all the pages, there's a lot of new vendors, and I'm trying to stay away from like a totally new vendor. I'm like, man, I want to find someone who's been established on here for a while. So I keep looking around, and eventually I stumble upon a listing that was 2 ounces of top shelf, A+++, high grade, the best shit, 2 ounces of that for $300. I looked at the vendor, he was pretty reputable, and I was like, well, I'm kind of looking for some lower tier stuff, but it would be nice to have some good weed as well, It would be nice to have some better shit. So I go on his page, and I look at all of his listings to see if he had any better deals, and it seemed like the 2 ounces for $300 was kind of the best thing within my price range. I only had like maybe $1,000 tops at the time to spend. I wasn't like the Omega Trapper, so I was kind of looking around, and I was like, okay, we can make that work, right? We can make some good money. I think if I get 2 zips for $300, I still got like $700 left in the budget. Hey, we'll figure it out. So I go ahead and I decide I'm going to grab that. And as I'm browsing through this guy's other listings, he's got a few other interesting things. The thing that most caught my eye is that he ships domestically, which, listen, that's essential, okay? Anything going through customs is a no. I have never once in my life bought something on the deep web that did not get shipped domestically. I've never done it. I've heard horror stories about it. I don't care if it's cheaper. I'll pay the fee to have it domestic. Thank you very much, all right? But either way. So I'm looking around, and the one thing that caught my eye was obviously that, but also this guy had some Molly listings. Now, you guys know me. Whenever I see a good deal on some MDMA, especially on the deep web, I'm going. I'll always buy a little bit just to test. And I've actually made a video about the one time where I got a super cheap, it was like 25 a gram or some shit, and it was amazing. It was great, right? That's what I thought I was going to be getting here, but we'll get to that, okay? So I look at this guy's listing, and he's got an 8-ball of Molly, domestically shipped, and it's a little more money. I think it was like, maybe $120, $110, something around that. So it was a little more money, but once again, for domestic shipping, that's not bad at all. You have to realize that guy got it in, but he took the risk part for us for the most part. So that's why it's a little more, that's still a great deal. On the street, I'm paying like 70, 80 a gram if I just go up and buy 1 gram, even an 8-ball, I'm still probably paying like damn near 60 or 50, 60 probably all the way up, unless I really know the guy, Molly's not cheap, dude. So I'm like, okay, wonderful. That sounds great. I'm definitely gonna throw that in the cart. It's only an extra $100. Why not? So at this point, I had like what, $400 in the cart with this guy. That's what I spent with him. And I was like, okay, I'm going to buy these, and then I'm going to go and try to find some other stuff. I'm still going to shop around, because I wasn't trying to put all my eggs in one basket. I was just trying to buy a few different vendors, test them out, and see what I liked, and then go from there. So I send the Bitcoin. I do that. I send it to escrow, however the hell you say it. I've never pronounced it right. I do my side of the job, basically, all right? I contribute my side, and now I wait. After I submit that order, I'm like, okay, I'm excited for this. This weed could be really good. I don't remember what strain it was supposed to be, honestly. Well, hey, we'll get to that. But either way, so I keep looking around on there, and I stumble upon a different vendor who had some much lower quality bud. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm looking for, right? And he had a quarter pound for, I think it was maybe like $300, and it was pretty good. So I was like, bet, dude. He didn't have anything higher than a quarter pound, unfortunately, but even at that price, I was like, you know what? Throw 2 of those in my cart. I can make some money. So I throw those 2 up in there, and now I'm good to go. I've got a half pound of some low-grade shit coming in, and then I've got 2 zips of the high-grade shit. And I've even got some Molly, dude. It's shaping up to be pretty fun. And at this point, the weed obviously I couldn't touch, but like the Molly, I could sample a little bit. That would be out of my piss in time. It's not like I was on Colors where I was getting called in randomly every week. You know what I'm saying? My probation was a little more laid back. I could kind of relax with it. So I was getting excited for this. I was like, okay, this is honestly, looking back at it, this was shaping up to be like one of my best, re-ups off the deep web ever. Just, at least from the looks of it, I was like, dude, I got great deals across the board. I got a wide variety of stuff. This is great. Normally, I just put all my eggs in one basket, like I did on Alphabay. I just go to like one vendor and just buy like a shitload of low grade. But this time, I'm excited. So obviously, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm extremely paranoid at this point because Alphabay had just gotten shut down, and I'm also on probation. I'm tweaking, okay? I'm tweaking out of my mind. Sober me is much more paranoid than me on drugs, but at this point, I wasn't consistently doing any drugs at all, so I had to sit there and just take it. And I was so paranoid to the point where I refused to check any tracking. I didn't check after I placed the order, I said, okay, the info's in. If it shows up, it shows up. Checking tracking does nothing. And I don't know why I did that. I think I like read somewhere that like they can, like some guy posted on some forum that like some dude got caught because of that. Probably just some bullshit. I don't know. But I was so paranoid I'd eat up any of that shit back then. So I wouldn't even check my tracking. So I just let time go by, and every day I'm sitting there just debating, should I go to the post office? Should I go to the post office? And man, I would have gotten it delivered to my house, but like I said, I'm a tweaker. At this point, I'm at my peak paranoia, so I got it to a P.O. box instead, which in retrospect is probably a dumbass idea. Don't do that, dude. Get like an actual drop spot. Don't get a fucking P.O. box. But I was desperate to re-up. I wanted to make some more money, and also I didn't want it at my house, so this was just the best solution at the time. The stupidest as well, but the best. So either way, back on topic here. So I'm sitting there, the week goes by, and the whole week I'm just paranoid as fuck. I'm giving it plenty of time. I don't know what day it was actually supposed to arrive, all of my stuff, or what day any of it really did show up. But eventually I'd say it was about a week later. I don't really remember how long it was. Maybe 5 or 6 days. I do remember I gave it quite a bit of time. I gave it a good amount of time, a generous amount. And even though the shipping advertised was quick, I did not show up the day it arrived. So I stayed up all night one night. I was already up late, and I was like, I gotta commit. I gotta go grab this. I gotta go to the post office tomorrow. And luckily, how my post office was laid out is if you had a P.O. box, you actually could go in after business hours. You could just go into the lobby, and you could go unlock your P.O. box and get your mail and leave. So I was like, yo, this sounds great. I have a plan. I'm just going to stay up all night. I didn't want to go at like 2 a.m. because that's a sketchy time. And also the post office was a common place that you'd see cops in the parking lot posting up. I didn't want to bump into that. So I was like, let's wait for like a 6 a.m. time slot, when the cop who was in that parking lot probably just got off duty and like all of the people who are commuting to work are just stopping in to drop off packages, maybe 30 minutes after I get there. It sounds like a perfect time slot. So I commit to it, right? I stay up all night. I force myself to stay up. I'm playing games, and I'm tweaking, dude. I'm so paranoid. The Alphabet thing shook me up, dude. I don't know why. I guess it was just because of the extent, like, the whole website was a honeypot. It was fucked. I was tweaking. And obviously, realistically, looking back at it, I'm just some little weed buyer, bro. They're not after me. I was some guy buying half pounds of Reggie, dude. They don't have any interest in me. They were looking for the guys buying the fent, the opiates, the huge numbers, right? And the vendors, of course. They weren't after me, but that's not really how I'm thinking in the moment. That's not really how I'm thinking at the time. So the night progresses, and I'm just tweaking off my dick. I'm like, holy fuck. I'm thinking of all the different ways I'm going to write songs in federal penitentiary, what my albums are going to be named when I get out. I'm like, dude, this is it, bro. YouTube's down the gutter. It's over. They're going to delete my channel, and while I'm in prison, give it to someone else who wants to name Goblin. I'm fucked. It's over with, right? So finally, the night goes by, a whole night of tweaking. And it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. The sun's just coming up. So I hop in my car, right? And I drive over to the post office. And there's like a couple cars out front. Basically nobody there. Basically nobody at all. And nobody was even in the P.O. box section. And I don't even think the main post office was open. Pretty sure the cars there were just like employees or some shit. So I go in there and I pop open my P.O. box. And there's a package, which concerned me quite a bit. I was expecting multiple. These were different vendors I ordered from here. So yeah, maybe okay. The guy put my weed and the molly together. But I ordered weed from 2 different guys. So I'm expecting bare minimum 2 packages here. And I've only got 1. So I grab my box and I just walk on out of the post office. And I'm getting terrified at this point. I remember literally, I felt this like actual it felt like an ice pack slammed into my body. Like an ice pack just hugged my body. I froze when I opened that shit and only saw 1 box. I was like, dude, it's a setup. They have the other one. The feds have the other one in the evidence room already. They just need my prints on one of them. I'm sitting there and I'm like, holy fuck, dude. I took my box. Looking back, I probably shouldn't have if I really thought it was a sting. Little pro tip here. Just don't take the box. But I took the fucking box, right? I took the box. So I grab that shit, and I speed walk out of this post office, and I get back in my car, and I remember I'm just looking over my shoulder. I'm tweaking out, because I don't know which package this is yet. I don't know what I've got here. And I get back in my car, and I skedaddle the fuck out of there. Luckily, I live pretty close to the post office, so I drive back home. And I'm sitting at home, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, dude. It's like 6:15 in the morning, dude. My mom is still sleeping. I'm sitting at home, and I've got this box. I'm in my driveway, and I remember I've got the box in my passenger seat. And I take the keys out of my car and just stab this box and rip it open. I didn't want to bring it inside and like wake up my mom. I was like, dude, I'm just going to do it here. So I stab this box and I rip it open. I remember my heart's racing. I'm like, what the fuck? Which one is it? Like, could it be? No way, Is it just a bomb? Like, is it the feds telling me they got it, I open it, and it turns out it's my low grade, right? My half pound of low grade. 2 QPs, beautifully bagged up, low grade. And it honestly wasn't bad, bro. It was better than a lot of the mid than these kids were selling in high school, I don't really remember the strain names of any of this shit at this point. I bought a lot of stuff off the deep web, and the only stuff that ever stuck with me was like the Obama Kush and maybe a couple other instances. But I don't really remember any of the strain names here, but it was some decent low grade. I do remember that much. I remember, opening the box and I was like, oh, okay. It made me forget about the fact that my other pack was still missing. So I'm like, okay, well, I got this. So I kind of forget about the other box. I try not to tweak, and I start calling people up, and I hit people up, and I'm like, yo, dude, I got some weed in. Do you need some? And I start moving it. I start selling it. I front some to some friends. I think I actually fronted some to Kyle at this point, and I gave some to some other friends. And, it was just a grand old time. I made all my money. No one fucked me. Everyone I fronted got me back because they were all my boys. It was great, right? It was wonderful. So eventually that was all dealt with. And after I was about to run out of that weed, I was on like my last ounce or two maybe, I realized I was like, hey, I'd almost totally like brushed off the other box because I was like, well, at least I got some. Let's not go back to the post office. But then one day I'm on my computer and I get back on tour, right? I get back on tour and I go to Hansa. And I go to message the vendor. I'm like, man, I forgot about this until just one day. It was like I woke up. I hopped out of bed and I was like, my pack. I knew it that instant. So I get back on Hansa, right? Dude's gone. Dude exit scammed, I'm pretty sure. Which, the reason I say it was an exit scam is because he had a lot of positive reviews, which, yeah, you can fake reviews. Obviously, vendors can just buy their own shit and just leave a review, but it didn't seem like that kind of account for me. So I guess the dude must have exit scammed. I go to message him, and it said he was banned, right? It said he was banned. Not his whole profile was gone, but it said he was banned. So once I see that, I realized it had been probably almost 2 weeks since I'd placed my order, and I hadn't even touched Hansa. I hadn't even checked on this guy to see if he'd contacted me or anything. I was like, oh my fucking God, dude. I just got shit on for $400. Thankfully, I wasn't too shaken up about it because I was more worried about the feds than I was about getting scammed. I thought my pack got seized. The first thing that came to my mind was not getting scammed. I honestly thought the SWAT team is coming to my house in the next few days, and I had to move that mid as fast as possible. Thank God. I honestly, I was kind of grateful to just get scammed here. But hey, either way, lesson learned, man. Hey, vet your sources a little better. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check out Ridge Wallet once again. Code GBLN at checkout, dude. You can't miss it, bro. It's just the finest wallet ever made, bro. The finest wallet ever made. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, gamers.